AI is coming. I don't know what it will do, but it will have a huge role to play.
Digital is the way forward. The reason why we launched the digital fund is also keeping that in mind that the next 3-4 years.
Your greatest learning from, being such a great student of these letters?
I mean, he's my gurus.
How would you, reenact that entire journey? Because that's what people want to know.
First thing I'll understand is power of compounding.
Okay.
First, if you are not understood, you are illiterate, I would say. So first become literate.
I have a fundamental belief. While I love the passives and I think you guys have done a great job in the offerings in the passives, I believed for long and I hope to continue to believe that there is an alpha to be made in actives versus the passive. So there's no harm if a client chooses passive or if the client needs a passive in the portfolio. And we're not shy or not away from suggesting clients to consider it. What would you think that between the gap that we have between actives and passives, today India is still rewarding the active investors well, while passive has got a place for people who can think long term and do not need much decision making skills or maybe even effort to make that decision. So do you have a different view in that, or you're also sure that this is only for a certain category of investors?
No, I think this is for all investors. Passive is now become an allocation decision. It's not, we don't believe that, I feel like in India, and even then, to be honest, there is a lot of active investing in passive.
People have converted the active strategies, passive strategies into active by the frequency of in and out that they do with the fund. Maybe in India, we're just waiting for that turn of events. But I'm going to quickly jump to you, Niket. I believe, like I said, in the alpha that the portfolio manager can generate in an active. And at some level, even the distributor can add value to the investor by choosing the right fund and choosing the right strategy. You're with me on that, or you feel that we could build a portfolio with both together in combination?
No, I think both of them, as you rightly said, both of them clearly have a role to play, whether it's portfolio manager or an advisor like you, who understands the fund manager, understands the philosophy, spends a lot of time with us on a regular basis. So I think both of them have a clear role to play. And I kind of quite agree with what your views are.
So I'm going to come back to you to ask you, there is this good debate going on between actives and passives, and normally we try to project India as a largely an active market where there's a stock picker's delight and you can do a lot of groundwork and be successful over there. You're one of those fund houses where you got both sides well managed and you got a good bouquet on both the sides. Usually a strong point is taken when somebody has got an offering or does not have an offering. But from the whole investor perspective, considering that you have such a deep experience in seeing how wealth is being created, you have any simpler answer between actives and passives as far as the future is concerned?
I mean, this question keeps coming. Even John Bogle has been asked about this. What percentage of the US market can go passive? So, if it is done too much, see, any good idea can be too much, at one point of time. If you go 70-80% passive, then actives will perform so nicely. Then it will become a cakewalk for them.
Correct.
The guys who survive. So I think market will find on its own, they will find balance. That the moment passive becomes too much, their job becomes very easy. The moment they become too much, then passive's job will become easy. I think both will be there. And now the third innovation is passive, active and passive.
Correct.
So all the smart betas and new quant funds. See, earlier what happened was in 60s, 70s, the computing power was limited. So the investing started in 40s, 50s. I think the whole evolution started from security analysis by Benjamin Graham.
Correct.
That was 1932, 1934. And then theory of investment value by Bun William. So those guys, they kind of formalized the investing. And then Benjamin Graham wrote Intelligent Investor. So it's all just about 60, 70 years history of the investing, common investing. But that time computing power was limited. If you go and see Intelligent Investor, even the tables are wrong. Mathematically, they are not right. So, that was the limitation of computing. Then, as the computers came, the computing power just started exploding. Today, literally infinite, computing power. On a spur of moment, you can calculate. So, now what you can think, you can calculate. Earlier, you couldn't do that. So, now, the new investment style, of course, actives are also using the computer power, but in passive, which was a dumb kind of a thing. They are able to bring, earlier it was only market cap based, but now you have various things to select stock. You can change the frequency of stock. So I think the so-called quant strategy, advanced quant strategies are coming in, which are nothing but some kind of passivity, good balance between passivity and active thinking, but passive management. So I think the innovation, the technology-led innovation, now AI is coming. I don't know what it will do, but it will have a huge role to play. Because they thrive in the big data. And there is no bigger data than stock market. So I think, and there is a method in the madness. In the longer run, there is a method in the madness in this data also. So I think we'll have very exciting time. World has become very rich. We're talking about $120 trillion industry, and it is growing at about 5 to 6% per annum. So God knows what will happen. Today, you see the US presidential election. I think here the market is more important than economy.
Yes.
Market is 2 times of the GDP. Market is $60 trillion. GDP is only $29 trillion. So I think importance of markets in India also. Now in India, markets are like, say, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5 times of GDP. So we are at $3 trillion, $4 trillion in the year. There we are at $5.5 trillion and growing very rapidly. Markets are growing at 15%, GDP is growing at 10%, nominal terms. So clearly, in next 10 years, the importance of market cap and the thing will increase, and a lot of innovations will come, where you'll have a lot of passive, lot of actives. Because another thing goes for active in India is that the owners, the promoters have 45, 50% of the market.
Large shareholdings.
Yeah, so they are absolutely passive. So you are playing among the rest of the 55%. So these guys, those who have analytical capability and information gathering capability with the help of technology and everything, they definitely have an edge.
Correct.
And there are a lot of mid and small companies, they definitely create wealth faster than large caps. Can you have those companies in your portfolio?
Yes.
So I think that is what gives an edge to actors. So I think for next 10, 15 years will be very exciting. While America and all who are very large economy, they will embrace passive, and active passive will also come. While in India, we'll do good job on active and passive, and more importantly, will leapfrog from only passive to quant kind of a situation. So I would think that future of quant is absolutely exciting.
So you've given us a beautiful roadmap there, and also there is a kind of a conclusion saying that whether it's active or passive or quant, we have a great opportunity on hand, first of all. I think the opportunity is the first thing that we recognize, and then we realize how you want to play that opportunity.
These numbers are going to come through. In India, this is all going to happen.
Yes.
With a gap of 15, 20 years.
So just spoke about AI and so much of data that one can, squeeze to get great outputs. I'm sure you must have already got requests for an AI-led theme or a subject, though we may not have many, investing universe over there. But my question was how you think AI will further the cause of passive investing, because I think you can't strip away the two. The AI is going to be integral to this part. How do you see that?
Yeah, so we have been spending some time and resources in this sort of AI level. In fact, quant itself is sort of not. I mean, I wouldn't call itself a full-blown AI, but it does use some amount of intelligence to make decisions about which stock to buy, which stock to sell. So that's something that we've been working on for the last 4 years. In fact, there's a lot of about 60% of the new ideas and innovation that we've had in the last 5 years have not come to market yet, which is the most unfortunate part. So yes, I think you have to innovate. You have to. We do believe that this technology is going to be a very, very important. I do use it on a daily basis, and so I think it is something which I personally know a lot of people are working on. We are going out there and searching for talent in the space, and hopefully we'll be able to build some track record and credibility in the space over the next 3 to 4 years time.
Excellent. Niket, on the AI side, I know you have a digital fund, and I know you guys are bullish on that space, but are you finding more opportunities by the day, or you think there's going to be still a lot more time for the actual AI play to kick in domestically, and you see that AI is largely still going to be an international team? How do you see that?
I think it's still some time away on the AI side. Obviously, it benefits the quant funds, which I think RA and Pratik alluded to. On the active side, it's pretty much, I think we continue to focus on digital. Now, within digital, every segment of life is now, there is digital element to it, right? You want to do travel, there's digital. You want to do payments, there's digital. You want to order food, there is digital. So on every segment after segment, there is digital, and the leader typically tends to take 70-80% of the market, and the balance is left with others. So it's a category where we believe that. So we're just getting started, right? And a lot of stuff, right? Whether it's quick commerce, food delivery, payments, everything, even UPI, right? I mean, it's internationally well-known thing that every country is trying to imitate UPI from us. So if you look at various parts of the digital ecosystem, I think there's a long way to go, and I think still there's some time away as far as AI plays a role.
Pratik, I'm sure Niket on a daily basis doesn't need a role model because he's already got a role model already in-house. From the passive side, is there a role model or someone that you look up to that you want to build this business or you want to build the whole piece built after some successful model? Is there something that you look forward to?
I mean, the role models are there. They don't have to come from active or passive. They can come from any industry. They can come from any country. So obviously, you have a list of people that you admire, list of people that you look up to, and the idea is to really learn and imbibe from their philosophies and their values. Obviously, I mean, these two out here have been very, especially Raamdeo ji has been a big part of my life, and I think a lot of inspiration I get. I think the platform is very strong. What I remember Raamdeo ji telling, not me, but some audience at some point in time, that so we have a very good platform, and we don't have to predict the future anymore. We can just create it.
Absolutely.
So that's how powerful this is, and only imagination is what gives you a limit. You can do whatever you want. The guys in the West, like Jack Bogle and a lot of other guys who I've personally met and interacted with, I think they've been very inspiring, and I think books are the biggest inspiration for me because there's not a lot of happening in the East. We're still building stuff here, but I think in the West there's been lots of guys who've done some good work, and I mean even a lot of studies. So I can give you an example. We did this study called DALBAR. So it's called DALBAR in the US, and it talks about the index is done about the S&P 500 delivered about approximately 6 to 8% over the last 40 years. So how much have an individual investor made in that point in time? And an individual investor has made about 2 to 3%.
Less than half.
Less than half of it. And this is a very powerful study. They've exposed their methodology, all of that. So in 2022, we did a similar study, which really, so we spent about 6 months doing it internally, and the Nifty has done about 15% in India over the last 20 years. An average investor in India, so we look at flow data and all of that, has made about 7.5%.
So exactly half.
Yeah, 7.5%. So it doesn't really matter if you're doing active or passive. The problem is behavior.
Absolutely.
So a lot of my work towards is talking to people and talking about behavior, because that I believe is the biggest problem. Biggest impediment towards.
In fact, getting all of you to speak over here is another big reason for us to help people, overcome this behavior. In fact, we all have information. We all know what works. But I think the changes that we have to make are internal to say that, whether it's a power of compounding or whether it's active versus passive, it's us who's got the power to, make it work for us. And I think the greatest learning, as far as my takeaway is, and I want to share it with all our investors and viewers, is that, while we know what works, we have to make it work, and by staying invested. And I think the single biggest takeaway is that stay as long as you can and let the compounding effect happen to you. It could be active, it could be passive, it could be digital. Opportunities are plenty. Coming back to you, sir. You literally have maybe a PhD for reading all Warren Buffett's letters and, actually being in physical at the AGM. Very few people have that luxury and privilege. And, after having read so many letters, and I'm sure there must have a lot of wisdom that you have gained, and also perspective about how those letters were written and how it panned out also after that. Your greatest learning from, being such a great student of these letters?
I mean, he's my guru. So what I am in investing world, a lot of credit goes to him. So see, basically, one of the things which I see in him is that it is his discipline. Apart from, see, you believe he's in America, his context is different, economy is different. So the playing ground is different. Their per capita income is above over $50,000 per capita. So they look like human beings, but they're actually Very different people. I mean, every person having $50,000.
That's a great perspective.
Here you have $2,500. I mean, literally, it's a very different thing altogether. So how do you? But businesses are businesses. So like one other thing he says, I'll tell you 2-3 things which I loved. The concept of business. Now you have cement, you have steel, you have digital, you have this. He says all business is same. It's an input-output machine. You input capital in the beginning of the year. You call it whatever cement, you make cement and then sell cement. But it's an output machine in terms of profit. You input 100 rupees. What comes out is either 90 if you're loss making. It comes out 110 if you're marginally profitable. It comes out 120 if you're well profitable. It comes out 200 if you're a Nestle. Okay? If you're a Nestle, it comes out 200 rupees. So you have to figure out, it's a business. So break the myth and see the business. See through the business, how good or bad it is. And there are 3 types of businesses. Great, good, and gruesome. This is 2007 letter, page 6 and 7.
Correct.
Must read. That is the best 2 pages, So where he explains, see, what is a good business? What is a good business? Is a business which earns about 17-18%. Your risk free is about 10. You make 17-18%, 20%, which is all the banks they make. HDFC, ICICI, they make about 17%. So that's a average good business. Very good business, outstanding businesses, the ones which make 35, 40, 50%, like Nestle of the world, Asian Paints, Hero MotoCorp. All of them, Indigo, they make about 30, 40, 50, 100, 135% types. Okay, so they are great business. There are always very few in any part of the world. There'll always be, say, we have 4,000 companies listed. There'll be about 50, 60, maybe 100 companies which are great businesses. You'll have 300-400 good businesses. And there are thousands and thousands of gruesome businesses. And what is a gruesome? Gruesome is not loss making. Loss making, of course, is gruesome. But the one which makes significantly lower than cost of capital.
Correct.
So your cost of capital is 10%, you make about 2-3%, 4%. Now what happens is, there you are actually profitable. Okay, so you make 5%. So when you make 5%, it is a gruesome business because everybody tries to double the profit. Now your ROE is 5%. You are making 5 crores on 100 crores. When you want to go from 5 to 10 crores, you need to put another 100 crores.
Correct.
So it becomes bottomless pit of doing business, of the capital. So when you want to go from 5 to 10 crores, your capital employed is from 100 to 200. So to earn another 5 crores, you have to put another 100 crores, which is completely, kind of not done. I mean, I would like to have a place where I put 100 crores, I get 200 crores at the end of the year.
Yes.
That's where the good and markets are not that efficient in figuring out the difference between good, great, and gruesome. Okay, a lot of gruesome businesses are also valued very high when there is a lot of theme going on. So there you have to see through. See, this is what I've learned from Buffett, that you must see. And then second thing is, see, basically in investing, there are only 3 things. Terrific business, terrific management, and terrific valuation. If you get all 3 right, you are sitting on a multi-bagger. Okay. So now, I've told you about the business. Now, how do you do the management? So management, he again has given a framework. See, Buffett is about the frameworks all across. As many you can collect. Okay. So how do you look at the management? It's a big thing. So you have to look at the competence, passion, and integrity. Okay, in India, we start with the integrity. If the guy is honest. Okay, second is the competence that you can see from the radar whether he is good. And then passion. When we meet one-on-one, that time you can figure out usme kitna garmi hai.
Correct.
How much ambition is there? How much compounding power he has? Kitna lambe hai uska ghoda hai wo. You find all kinds of guys. Very qualified, but there's no fire. The guys who are not qualified, lot of fire. We need the guys with qualification and firepower. When these two come together, then you see the making of HDFC Bank and Infosys and those kinds of things.
And Motilal, because when you told me all those 3 points, in fact, it's visible that all the 3 qualities are there. In fact, I'm going to ask you a very social media style question. What would you do if you were younger today and say you had a 5 or 10 lakh rupee monthly income? Now you have all the knowledge and information that you did have right now, thanks to your experience and all your readings. But now let's go back that you were 30 and you were just a regular investor. How would you, reenact that entire journey? Because that's what people want to know. They're saying, boss, a lot has been already passed under the bridge, but what do I do today? And I'm sure most of the viewers want to take that away from you because you already have the experience, you already have the knowledge, and they do not want to make the mistakes that many did by not investing in India or not investing in equities. So what would you do so that people can at least do something right from now on?
Very good question. Let me try to do justice. See, the point is, if I'm young, first thing I'll understand is power of compounding.
Okay.
First, okay, and I don't want to mince words. You must understand power of compounding. If you are not understood, you are illiterate, I would say. So first become literate. Okay, that's a very, very small ask, but very important ask.
We must redefine financial literacy by the first parameter, which is, do you know compounding? Yes or no?
Yeah, yes or no. Okay, so that is almost like a given that if you don't know it, you are illiterate. You are walking in jungle without torch. See, if you are in a dark night and you are in jungle, what do you need? First thing you need is a torch.
Light.
The torch is that compounding. The torch will show you the way, where to go. So if that you don't have, you are groping in dark. You could be lucky, you could be unlucky. But how do you make yourself lucky? Is the way to have the compounding. Compounding creates a bridge between present and future. Everybody doesn't want to be a billionaire. People want to have financial independence. So how do I become financially independent? Now, what is the definition of financial independence? If you're in Mumbai, you want to have at least 50 crores. If you're in Raipur, you don't need 50 crores. Maybe 25 crores is good enough. If you're in my village, maybe even 10 crores is financial independence. So you have to set the target. How much time do I have? Today I have, say, whatever you're saying, 5 lakh rupees or 10 lakh rupees monthly income or whatever. And then I have to set the goal that, okay, right now I'm 30 years. At the age of 60 or 65, I want to retire. At the 65, how much money you want to have? How much purchasing power you want to have? That's the job you have to ask them. Okay, I want to have 100 crores or 1,000 crores. You can have it. But for that, first thing you set the compounding. If the compounding works away, I don't think it will work out more than 25%. So how do I compound my wealth by 25%? Market gives you 15. So he does 25% with 70 bips given. Okay, so you can find managers who will do 25% for you, but that's a tall ask across your portfolio. So if you make, say, 18%, 19%, 20%, then you must top it up with your savings every year of 5-6% of the thing. That's what I do. Motilal Oswal doesn't make, say if you are growing at 25%, we make about 20% from our portfolios and all, and 5 to 7% I top up with my operating profit, savings. And that's how my balance sheet keeps growing at 25, 27%. So you have to engender your own compounding machine, which is very possible. And that you can do it only if you understand compounding. And then you know your own strength and at what pace you want to go. Because if you want to go at 35%, you have to work very hard. You have to find people who, you have to set up a company, you have to create an organization. Whole lot of effort is required because...
I'm sure, sir, if Buffett were to come to India, he'd be the most proud to see you and your team. Someone who's emulated him so well. And I think if you look at the CAGR returns that we have done and maybe even you have done, you guys have even beaten Buffett to some extent or large extent.
See, Buffett is about not percentage. Buffett is 20% for 65 years.
Yes.
So we have to travel 65 years. In compounding, we can keep talking. I think it will take your whole podcast time. See, in compounding, at the rate of 25%, when you go, say, 1000x in 30 years.
Yes, 30 years.
28, 29, 30. The last 3 years go from 500 to 1000.
Yes.
So the effort required in last 3 years is going to be so massive. What you do in 27 years, you have to do it in 3 years.
Yes.
That's the power of compounding. So India did in 75 years 4 trillion. In next 9 years, we'll do more than what we did in 75 years.
Yes.
But to get in the head, the opportunity is just going to explode. So the size of opportunity waiting for this industry is not funny.
Yes. So I'm going to wrap up here with just 2 takeaways for all of us. Number 1, we've just heard from the team here that the opportunity is so compelling that we really have to do something special to miss it, right? We just going with that supercharged notion that the opportunity is real, it's tangible, and we have to do something really stupid to miss out on the opportunity. The second thing is, for all of us, that do not miss the primary lesson, that is, understand, appreciate, and give credence to the power of compounding. Active, passive, day-to-day management, all those are good. But the most important takeaway, and I think, sir, the wealth of knowledge that I go after spending this time with you, is that we have to re-emphasize to everyone, and including ourselves internally, that the power of compounding is going to work magic. We have to believe in it, and we have to ensure that it plays out in our portfolio. So thank you so much for enlightening all of us. I'm sure all of us hearing this are going to be thoroughly enriched. But I must also confess that I am also going to go back thoroughly enriched. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for
that.
that.
Is the starting point.
I think that's the effect you have on people. And, from listening to podcasts to being in a podcast with you, I think I would count it a success in my own life's journey. Thank you so much for making it happen. And Pratik, thank you so much for joining us. And Niket, thank you. I know this is a working day and giving us an opportunity to shoot at the Motilal Oswal Tower. Remember, this is just beyond believing. We are sitting in tangible success story of how two people got together. They dreamed big, they believed, and they made it happen. And that's the opportunity the Indian markets present for all of us. If you can dream it, we can do it, and we can live it, and wealth is there to be made. Thank you so much to all of you.
Thank you.